Welcome to Uncaged Leaders. Looks like we're live. Thanks for your patience. We're having a little tech issues here, but nevertheless, let's get going. So I'm excited to welcome my good friend Jay Scholfield to Uncaged Leaders Show. Jay is a man of profound stability and quiet strength. Born into a naval aviator's family, Jay navigated the globe, living in 6 states, the island of Malta, before he was 17. This early perspective laid the foundation for a 45-year career as a self-employed real estate appraiser and a logistics manager, where truth and precision were his primary tools. While Jay mastered the system of corporate and state logistics, he never lost his resonance with the natural world. A University of Georgia graduate and a devoted husband of 55 years to his wife, Grace, Jay has spent the last 15 years as a steward of the organic garden at Unity North Atlanta. He joins the Uncaged Leaders series to share how a man can maintain his soul, his marriage, and his connection to the earth while successfully navigating the linear demands of the modern world. So welcome, Jay. I'm excited to have you here with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Thanks for y'all for bearing with us. We had a few tech issues. Let us know who's watching and if you have any questions for Jay. So, Jay, let's get down to it. I've known you for a few years now, and we worked in the organic garden together. So this is an honor. I know how much you care about the soil and the rich life it has to offer us. And you of all people, you're one of the most connected men that I know to the soil. So it's wonderful to have you here to give us the scoop on the real dirt on the soil and your connection.
The dirt on the soil, yeah. It's interesting. That's a nice play on words. It is soil. I tell anybody who comes to the garden for the first time, start referring to our soil as dirt. I have to get them on the right plane and say, dirt is what you sweep up in your kitchen. Soil is what grows your food and sustains life. A big difference.
Yeah, there is a big difference. So when you were a little boy, Jay, did you grow up in the garden, or did you garden, or was the being outside a big part of your life as a child?
Yeah, the second more so than anything in my early years. I grew up in a time where kids were just basically outside when they got home from school, uh, and be home for dinner, be home before it gets dark, whatever it was. And how we did, there was lots of freedom. And we didn't think twice about it because that's all we knew at the time. That's the way our parents, at least mine, and from what I understand, most parents of that era when the parents were trying to get them lives started and what have you. And yeah, the kids would go play after school. So I was always outside with my sisters and friends in the various neighborhoods we lived in. I guess the first real time I start remembering being in the woods all the time is because we lived behind. There were woods behind my house, my parents' house in Maine. We lived in Brunswick, Maine. We had just moved back from Malta, which again, outside in Malta, I was younger even and was always outside there as well. But just always in the woods, always riding bikes to ponds or streams, just exploring the world, the natural world, which in those days there was plenty of it. They hadn't, deforested the land for subdivisions on end, and uh, the expansion of the suburbia. It was all small town. It had a small town feel, and there was plenty of places to go as a kid, build a fort, just play in the woods, find a lake, find a stream, what have you. Uh, so yeah, from Maine we moved to Illinois, and we were near lots of fields, cornfields. There was agricultural things going on, large trees in these big fields that would have hawks and owls as their home. And I was always amazed to find all these bones at the bottom of the tree, from where the animals would do their hunting, and that was their home. I'm sure right now it's a big subdivision. This was outside of Chicago back in the early '60s. Uh, but anyway, from there to Massachusetts. Again, we were lucky enough to live right behind, right in front of woods and a pond and streams. And I remember walking out of my house, going maybe 50 yards in a field with hay, tall grasses and hay, and a family of pheasant just, exploded out of the grass in front of me. And this is in a small town in New England. So those were the kind of experiences that kind of formulated just me being having a DNA that I try to honor by recognizing I love being outside. I'm not alone in any of this, but I was lucky enough to experience that as a kid. I didn't live in a city. So nature and woods and fields and streams, lakes, what have you, was a thing. And I was not a gardener, but I just was an appreciator, if you will, of the natural world. Always.
Right. And was your father like that as well? Or your siblings, did they have that same love, or your mother even as you do?
I don't think my mom, of course, she would dabble in flowers, but certainly not. We never grew a garden, and my dad, not so much there either. I think he took me fishing. He showed me, all the details about sport and what have you, and how to be a man. And it was a great upbringing by him. But no, we never went camping. Or just hikes in the woods. I don't remember any of that. I was pretty much on my own, finding my way.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. And it sounds like you had a lot of respect for the natural world, the animals, the insects, and a lot of kids, unfortunately, don't always have that. I mean, sometimes they're hurting little animals. I mean, I was hearing a little boy telling me about that this past week. So, what was different? I mean, what kept you from having this respect for the earth?
Well, as far as the animal kingdom, I've always been, I was never taught to be a hunter. Uh, and I think the first realization that I was actually taking something that was alive and taking it out of its habitat was fishing, catching a fish, and then having to actually kill the fish to scale it, and to get it ready to eat. Uh, there was never any sport of hunting or fishing. It was uh, to learn, fishing especially. The hunting I just didn't do. Uh, but I've even stopped doing that. I think the last time I caught a fish teaching my young son how to fish was having to deal with the fish. And yeah, I've subsequently become a pacifist. And, why wouldn't you be? I know we have to eat. I understand the cycle and all that, but if I could choose to not harm, I certainly will. Although as a kid, you're with other kids, and they would catch lightning bugs and throw them on the ground and step on them and make that little phosphorescence glow for just a couple of seconds, and it was great. It was just what kids did, but they didn't understand just the effect. I'm talking about myself too. I did not understand that I was actually killing, a lot. So I've become much more gentle in my ways. It's live and let live in my world. And if I can help in any way, find an animal that might need some assistance, I'm going to certainly do it.
Yeah, well, have you found any animals out in the garden that you've helped?
Uh, Mostly, unfortunately, I will find an animal that has, met its demise. Either a bird has struck a tree or something. Something has happened, and I'll find a dead animal. Uh, the other day in the garden, I was way back in the woods, and there was a turtle right there in the middle of the pathway, and it had somehow passed, but I couldn't figure out how that could have happened. I mean, they've got their shell and they can get inside it. I know they hibernate, but they might be coming out of hibernation. This one might have been caught in a cold spell. We
Mm.
About 2, 3 weeks ago. I mean, we were running like spring is here, and all of a sudden it's like 20 degrees at night. Uh, may have caught that turtle off guard. I don't know. It was sad. I took him off the path and found a place to to put them on. I put them under a log and just let nature take its course.
Yeah, that's what we have to do sometimes. I mean, I found a little bee yesterday in the path and picked him up and tried to give some sugar water to him. And, he I don't know. He made it through the night, but he didn't do any better. He's still struggling. So I just put him in a little flower pot and just let him be. So, I mean, yeah, we can do the best we can, but we have to have that respect for the process of life.
Absolutely. And certainly, my attraction to gardening, just to kind of move the timeline along here. We moved to Savannah from Boston, and when I was 17 years old, uh, hung out with guys that would go to the beach. We did a lot of beach time. There was woods to play in, but not necessarily. It was mostly going to the beach when we had free time. But uh, moving up to Atlanta, one of my jobs was working with folks, kind of country folks, if you will. They were engineering types, but they lived out in Ball Ground and Canton, and they would commute into, say, Brookhaven, or yeah, Brookhaven area, and they would talk about their spring gardens. Have you got your garden in? Have you got your garden in? Well, I was listening to all of this, and I would hear these, how's your garden? What's up? What are you planting? And I caught the bug. I caught this idea of a garden. Uh, Grace and I lived in a house on La Vista Road. We were renting a house, had a great little backyard, and we asked the owner of the property if I could plant a garden there. And he said, absolutely. Why wouldn't you, plant a garden? So I took it upon myself to get a rotary tiller and took a 20 by 20 foot plot in the backyard that was just original grounds. It had grass on it, but it was kind of untended. And proceeded to till the soil, amend the soil, planted a garden, the very first one. Uh, as a novice, you get the seed pack and it tells you how to, create the row, create the space, how to plant, how deep, and just took off as a novice gardener. And the success of that first garden was truly amazing. I mean, bumper crops of lettuce, carrots that can compete with anything coming out of Publix today. I mean, no, truly, because they're kind of dicey, hard to grow, but from the get go, uh, you know, I seem to have a knack for it. So we eventually moved from that house, not far away, and bought a house. And I did the same thing at that new home that I now owned and could do as I please. The backyard had pine trees, and took the pine trees out, got the stumps out, tilled the soil, started amending the soil, and typical Georgia soil is clay, and if you till it and amend it, eventually it turns into beautiful topsoil. And over the 7 years of doing that, by the time I left, I probably had a foot deep of black, rich, perfect soil, if you will, that life-giving soil in the backyard, and had a beautiful garden there that we would grow our vegetables. We would can tomatoes and green beans and eat a lot of fresh. Uh, it was just a great experience. I got a beehive started there, my first beehive. Uh, so yeah, and then from there, moved to our house up here in Marietta. Uh, I don't do gardening per se. I mean, I don't do vegetable gardening, but I do ornamental gardening, both front and backyards with plantings, azaleas, flowers, what have you. Uh, my vegetable garden needs more sun than this yard allows. So luckily for me, 15 years ago, uh, the organic garden that was started at Unity had a change in leadership, and Debbie Raduca stood up in front of the congregation and asked if anyone was interested in being co-facilitator to year number 2 at the garden. And talk about right place, right time, and having the universe answer, what would make this man happy. you know. Yeah, the question came out, anybody interested? And so I raised my hand and said, I sure am. And never looked back from that point on for 15 years, going back there pretty much twice a week, every week, even though it's a seasonal garden. It is a year-round garden. Members pretty much work 9 months, 8 to 9 months during the height of the season, if you will. And then the cool weather comes in and the garden slows down. It rests, but there are cool weather crops that grow, and we grow them there and tend them there. So it's year round for me.
Yeah, I love the way you're saying the rest. I mean, it's like the stages of life with the resting, and also when you're talking, it sounds like it's very meditative, the process.
I find it so. I mean, it's work. It's physical. I'm not going to call it labor, but it's physical movement. Any type of action to be uh, in the creative spirit, especially starting and tending a garden. That's physical. I mean, start a project that's paperwork or writing or something along that line. It's a creative process, but the physical aspects are not the same as starting a garden and tending a garden. But it also requires that connection, and that's what you're kind of driving at. You know, I find it very meditative. I once took some Tai Chi courses, and I find gardening and just meditative movement. Obviously, I call it just that, but it's in the line of Tai Chi, being aware, staying staying connected to what you're doing, appreciating the fact that you can physically move and be creative. So that is my outlet for my creative spirit, if you will. I'm not a painter and I'm not a musician. I'm a gardener, and I'm proud of being able to look at things and say, okay, this is what needs to be done, and this is what can happen if that action is taken. It's pretty basic stuff, but it's still what I do, and it's what feeds my soul.
Right. Yes. I mean, that deep connection and the way that I mean, being in the garden with you is the quiet respect for everything that's grown. I mean, taking the care to really acknowledge the work and everything. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because it's not like, okay, let's just get the vegetables and go.
No, it's not at all. We meet for 2 hours twice a week on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Wednesday afternoon after work, and then Saturday mornings. Uh, yeah, it's a spiritual place. We're deeply connected to Mother Nature back there. We all know that in our hearts, and when we arrive, we typically will gather around the table and just get settled in, if you will, and we'll hold hands and set an intention for the day. So we right out of the chute. Uh, connect with each other and to the space and to the to the gift of our lives being shared in with Mother Nature. So it just people who come back there, I assume they're feeling those same things I do. It's just a blessing to be able to do it and to do it with other folks and to be and to create this space that honors the earth and is available to anybody who's part of the community or otherwise. We have neighbors behind the garden, a large subdivision right behind us that uh, folks come walking through the garden on their walks with their pets and what have you. And other folks from church come back there after a Sunday service. If someone has told them about the garden, obviously it's not technically visible from the church proper, but they'll come back there and they'll say, I did not know this was here. This is amazing. And plus the woods behind the garden. So it's like, and then Debbie Raduca's beautiful labyrinth. So that whole back portion of the church is really sacred grounds, lovingly
Yeah.
lovingly tended.
And the way that the path that you've created in the back and all the beautiful what are those white flowers? I mean, everything is very deliberate in the garden. I mean, the heart shape with the, what are those flowers called?
They're called snowdrops.
Oh yeah.
Snowdrops, and they've got a history. So I know when you came back for the first time, we walk everybody through the garden and give them a brief history, and everything that you see back there has a story. I mean, as do the snowdrops. So right now, after I don't know, I'm going to say 12 years of planting the original 2 dozen snowdrop bulbs along on the edging of a flower bed. Those 2 dozen uh, original bulbs planted in the ground have propagated into probably 1,000 bulbs that have been dug up, separated, and transplanted throughout the space. And each of those bulbs ultimately will do the same thing. Uh, so it's the gift that keeps on giving, if you will. And our vision was to create a border around various walks we have before you get into the garden, and then in the woods behind the garden and along the pathways. The vision was, we've got these bulbs. Why don't we plant them along the edges of the pathway through the woods? And excuse me, over the last, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 years we've been doing that. You can see the results. It's really beautiful. This time of year, they've just about finished their flowering, and now will just fade away into the soil with the greenery. So their cycle, uh, they've blossomed forth, and now they will, you know, give up that, and they will move into their rest period and their multiplication period probably. So yeah, it's all intentional back there, and that's the beauty uh, of that's that creative outlet for me. I'm not the only one with a vision back there, but going back there and having the time, I see things, if you will. I can see potentials, and I'm willing to verbalize that. Put the idea out to my fellow gardeners, and get them to buy in, if you will. And uh, through all those efforts, through all those years, that's what we've created, and it continues to evolve. This new project uh, that was it's now into its pretty much moving forward stage. We've got some semi private slash governmental organizations that want to get a habitat for the pollinators and are willing to help in that regard. So there's always something going on. This is another big deal to the whole space back there in the Unity North organic area, between the labyrinth and the woods and the garden and the flower beds.
That's beautiful. We have a question here too
What's that?
from Everett Mizzle. What have you learned about the nature of God through gardening?
Oh, wow. Well, I find nature, Mother Nature, to me is a reflection of all the beauty and power and energy that is in life, that is in everything that we see, and everything we touch, and my heart and soul. So, uh, nature to me is just is church. It's heaven on earth, and me as part of the creation aspect of all things. I'm the hands and eyes and the heart uh, of God, if you will, to to be my creative self. So yeah, a deep connection to nature, uh, and the spirituality and the honor it is to be to know that is happening to my life and to those that I work alongside with. We take it, find it not just work. We find it's an endeavor of deep connection, and we pray in, and at the end of the day, we say prayers of gratitude for the honor of being where we are, for the bounty of Mother Nature slash God, call it what you will. Uh, yeah, so it's important part of what we do back there.
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. And Everett says, great answer. We can be God's physical hands on the earth. Yes. And so many people. I mean, I think a lot of children are out. I mean, when I grew up, okay, so I was born in '67, and I would be out with playing, probably like you just said, out every day playing outside and climbing trees and everything. And you would drive through the neighborhood and see all the kids playing, and you just don't see that much anymore. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh boy. Well, like everybody else who sees nothing but screen time with not only children, but everybody. People sitting around a dinner, but a restaurant table, not speaking. It's a sad state of affairs, and if we don't break out of it, it doesn't bode well. We're going to lose all that potential connection to beyond a phone and a laptop computer. Uh, so, excuse me. I love it when children come back to the garden. I especially like to focus my attention on them to give them you know, a younger, I'll go into my youthful take on things. Like, gosh, you want to see a worm? I've got a place over here that we've got a whole bunch of worms. You want to check them out and see because they're really important. So, I'll try to draw anybody who comes back there to the garden. I'll try to draw them in, or at least give them history as to what's what, because they don't know. And to know that it's been there for going on the 16th year is pretty impressive. You can see gardens in your travels around, uh, but this one's had legs, and it's only had legs given, the intent of a dedicated group that has kept it going all these years. So anyway, yeah, we need to get the kids out, but that's not mine to do. If they come out, mine to do is to be the good, the good steward and the explainer of what's happening here, beyond just here's a garden. Try to get them to talk about the energies that's flowing in and around. You know, take it beyond just the physical, but not go too deep. It's a fine line. I mean, to an adult, you can have that conversation, but you can explain it in a way that a child would understand. Excuse me. I've had a cough, a little dry cough here. I think it's pollen time, but whatever. Excuse me.
Yeah, we're covered in pollen over here. I'm sure it's on my glasses. But so what about places you've been, Jay? Were there any? I mean, can you? I mean, what place have you been that was just in nature and you could really feel the essence of God?
Hmm. Let's see.
There's probably a
Oh,
lot.
well, you go to a national park and you become in awe of the sights and the grandeur of anything, a waterfall, a prairie, a mountainside, what have you. Uh, I always live near the ocean, so I have a deep connection to the oceans uh, and water as one of the base elements of life. Uh, yeah, I learned to swim very early. I would be turned loose when we lived in Malta. My parents, this is just a function of the time we lived in. They gave me some flippers and a mask and a snorkel. And my parents would be sitting over, and Malta is a rocky island, so they'd be sitting on their blankets over there having their beverages and their lunch, and I would just be on my own, swimming along the shoreline with my mask and flippers. Now I'm all of 6 years old, no supervision. I'm just on my own right from the get go, and that's all I can always remember the freedom that I had to just explore life, to explore the world kingdom. So in awe of just swimming in the ocean with a mask on and seeing, the fishes and the urchins and the jellyfish. It was just amazing to me. It was all new to me. I mean, I'm just a young child experiencing just a wealth of everything is new. Every day was something to just go, wow, what's happening here now. I can't say as I delved into how did this all get here? What's going on? I just experienced it. And they remain memories in my head as to just the grandeur of it all. But as a kid, you just experienced it, and then you eventually get out of the water and dried off and went home. You didn't get into any great discussions as to what's what and who's who here. At least I didn't. And that's, as a child, your ability to think beyond just the day to day is limited. I mean, you have to grow and learn as you go. Uh, it would have been more of my parents to bring that connection out to me, to explain or to ask me questions, to draw it out of me versus me, excuse me, asking, a question as to how did this all get here, or what is all this, and why am I here? What am I doing? I don't know. I didn't have that. I just went about living my life and just having a grand time, but didn't know I was having a grand time because I figured everybody was doing what I was doing. Certainly, swimming in the Mediterranean as a 6-year-old on my own. Certainly, that's what everybody does.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Well, there are definitely physical connection. I mean, changes in our body when we touch Mother Earth, that connection with her. Can you talk a little bit about that for people that maybe, I mean, that don't know about it, or people that are really disconnected from the earth? What would you tell someone the benefits are?
Yeah, well, they talk about that energy transference. Everything is energy. And so Mother Earth, just the grounds we walk on, and both in your house and outside, obviously outside is what we're talking about. Uh, they talk about, if you can go barefoot, you should. That connection of your foot to the energies of the earth, just there's going to be a transference going on. I find it, I don't walk barefoot too much. Uh, But when I'm at the garden, I am usually, when I'm tending a bed, I'm usually on my hands and knees just to get down low. I'm a tall guy, and bending down is, I want to protect my back and my hips and legs, what have you. So I'll have my toes on the ground, I'll have my knees on the ground, and I'll have my hands deep in the soil. So I'll have 6 points of contact for energy transference. Now, I don't sit there and think about it. I just do it. But I do know in my heart of hearts that when I garden without a glove on, and my hands are getting, and my fingernails are all deeply embedded in that soil, I'll eventually wash them off. But uh, I don't fret about that. I enjoy that. It's important. And I'll look at my hands, which are the tools. These are my tools, if you will, besides, you know, everything else in my physical aspects. But yeah, I give thanks for my hands. They're strong. They're still viable. They're hanging in there. Uh, and yeah, there's that. And folks just think it's dirt. They'll call it dirt. Nope, soil. Don't forget. It's
Right.
it's soil. It's different, and it's full of life, full of life. So if you got your hands in full of life, besides it's technically it's in the air as well, but that one might be a leap of faith to try to make that connection. But the physical aspects of soil and then getting it on your body, yeah, why not? Go roll in some mud, see what happens. It's probably good for you, from what I hear.
Yeah, it is good for you. We need the mud. We
Take
need that connection to earth.
take a mud bath, right on. I've never done one, but I'm up for it if someone would point me in the right direction. Mud bath,
Yes.
mud bath, turn here.
Well, having the, I mean, and that's one reason that, I mean, going to the garden is always so satisfying, is to get away to back to Mother Earth. And I always, like you're saying, I like to put my hands in and feel the earth and have that connection. And it's that cool connection, that grounded connection. And if we don't have that, we can lose ourselves. I think we can be overwhelmed in the digital world, and we don't have that quiet time. And what are things that someone might learn from gardening I mean, the spiritual aspects possibly, or not just spiritual, but what would you learn from gardening?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's just basically, you could summarize it as, this is how you should tend to your life. There should be, excuse me, to plant a garden. It takes some understanding as to how things work, and um, yeah, getting the bed ready, taking the time to get the soil ready, just a process. Taking the time to read the instructions on how to plant a seed, and just knowing that that seed in this packet, if it's planted correctly, will feed you. You know, and to know that, and to see the smallest of seeds turn into the orangest of carrots is a miracle. It's a total miracle, and it's so you can take it from the micro to the macro. You see a tree in the woods, a stately poplar that's 75 feet tall, and you can't even reach around it. It's so big, and it's just coming out of the ground. And if you take the time to think about it, just the immense, uh, it's not magic. It's the beauty of life right there. It's God in physical form, if you will, in the poplar tree. Uh, So I'm all constantly amazed at the life cycle that I'm, as a gardener, am deeply involved in all the time back there, tending those tending those plants as they make their appearance, thinning them out as they need to be to give them space. Uh, there's talk in our community about creating space within your heart, or your thought processes, for new space, for new growth, for a higher way of understanding. You sometimes have to let things go. So if all the seedlings that you planted are coming up, uh, they all require a certain amount of space to thrive. So you have to be aware of that. And as you're physically doing it, but you're also understanding just what you're doing. It needs this space to grow. And if you give it to it, it will thrive. And if you pack it in there and it doesn't have the space, it's not gonna reach its potential. So, staying awake back there, staying aware of how things work. And it's not rocket science by any stretch. It just requires, you know, uh, understanding how to read a seed packet, and understanding and uh, what they're telling you. It needs so much space. It needs to be so deep. It needs to be tended. It has a 90-day growth cycle, and you'll be eating fresh lettuce in 30 days if you're patient. And
That's it. Patience. Yeah, I know the patience. I know we sometimes in our own lives, metaphorically, we plant seeds and we just like, where's the growth? Right.
Yeah, what's happening here? Why isn't it happening? Yeah, that's an interesting point. Why isn't what I'm envisioning not happening, or what was my heart's desire that I thought I was creating, not coming to fruition? That's one you just have to sit back and maybe reassess. Did I miss a step? Did I sleep through a couple of periods of time that needed my attention that I didn't give it? Yeah, it does. You have to, stay awake. I think that's one of the, you know, a thing. That's a thing. Stay awake, and awake means, yeah, not just physically. Obviously, that's too easy. It's the emotional, the spiritual, the other sides of being awake need to be on.
Right. Yeah. And so how do you stay awake every day? I mean, when before we set up, you were in the other room and you had a beautiful little area, a sacred area. Can you tell us about how you stay awake and, possibly that sacred area?
Well, there is a physical space in my office, in my home, that I've dedicated to, placing feathers that I find and rocks that I find. It's a sacred place for me to always look at and be brought back into uh, that aspect of life, the sacredness of it. Uh, uh, so that's always there for me. But beyond that space, I want to be able to find getting in my car and having the honor to drive, to a park or someplace like that as sacred in itself. I'm blessed to be able to do that, to drive my car and look at the magic of this world we live in. And I'm not constantly in that, call it woo woo, but I know it's there when I'm in the office. And my body will tell me, Jay, you have got to go outside. You've been sitting in this office all day. You need some fresh air. You need some sunlight. You need a different vision to put your eyes on, like a backyard that, is in full bloom with dogwoods and azaleas and flowers right now. The beauty of that just lets everything go, lets all the busyness of the working world, if you will, and just says, okay, aren't I lucky to be able to just walk out my door and experience this? And I know I am. And I will count my blessings. And that's the connection.
Yeah. So you are aware. You're not just on autopilot. Your body is keeping you informed and you're listening to your body. That's a lot of people are not doing that. That is actually why a lot of people are frustrated because they're overwhelmed with being online or on the computer. And they're like, what's wrong? And then
Yeah. Then they go home and sit in a house and, their time outside with sun and fresh air and grass and what have you, or is minimal. And yeah, that would be a sad state of affairs. I would have to look at that setup and say, there's got to be a better way.
yeah, there's
That's
got to
me.
be a better one. Mhm.
That's just me. Some folks, they've got their jobs and they have to do their jobs, and they're just trying their best. I'm sure they're all trying their best. If there was a way out, they would probably try to find it. It's difficult times. Difficult times.
Yeah, and you gave me a good idea the other day about going to the garden at night. So what do you find? I mean, what would you recommend to maybe that person that only has nighttime to get out?
Wow, yeah, that was, you know, uh, nature is always there. And to say, oh, it's raining, I'm not going outside. Normally, if it's raining, I got things to do inside, I'm not going outside. But, if I have the time or if I wanted to go for a walk or if I wanted to go over to the garden and it's raining, I'll go to the garden, I'll bring an umbrella and I'll go to the garden. And if I want to walk in the woods, and I've done these things, we've gardened in the rain over there. I like to take a lot of photos, kind of document, just keep track of things because, uh, it's important to document to me. And photographing times and places is what I do when I'm not gardening. Anyway, uh, yeah, I got pictures of a group of us. We've got our raincoats on, our hoods on, and we're gardening away. Rains. So I think of the post office, neither rain nor sleet. Yeah, I've got photos of the garden when we've had a snowstorm, snow dusting, a couple of inches of snow. To see the garden in that quiet time, all white, absolutely gorgeous. Uh, to go walking in the woods during a rain shower, magical. To go there at night, uh, it's quiet, it's dark, it's beautiful. Yeah, anytime, any place should be how it works for folks. But again, you know, lucky me at this point in my life, I'm able to kind of pick and choose when and where I do what I want to do. Some folks, they got family, they got routines that they have to stay with. I have family too, but uh, you know, you live long enough, eventually things settle down. Everybody gets on their own pace, and I'm lucky enough to do what makes me happy, which is a walk in the woods at night. Why not? So I would advise that those woods are always there to experiencing at night. You're going to hear and if you tune in your senses, especially your hearing, it's just a whole nother thing. and it's worthy of checking out. You know, I know it's not new, but a walk in the woods at night, yeah, why not? So stop by the garden sometime. If you're traveling up and down Sandy Plains Road, just pull in, get out of your car. You got the place to yourself. You can walk the garden, walk the labyrinth, walk the woods.
Yeah, definitely. If you're in this Marietta, Georgia area, let us know where you're watching from, and we got a few more minutes. But if you have any questions, so Jay, and also please subscribe, y'all. Subscribe to this channel, Jay. So, as a man of integrity, how does the garden keep you in line with your integrity, or how is that in alignment with your integrity?
Right. Well, it just represents what it takes to be a gardener. You don't. I tell people you cannot dabble in gardening. You just can't. I mean, you can. And you can do whatever you'd like, but I will tell you, it's not going to be a pretty picture to be a dabbler. Uh, so it takes a commitment, and that's one thing that usually when I start something, it has spoken to me enough to start it, and I will stay the course to finish it. Now, this gardening business, there's not going to be an end to that for me. I will do this for as long as I'm physically able, and I assume that's to my last breath. I'm going to go with that. Time will tell there, but uh, yeah, it, it has to call you to the fact that it requires diligence, commitment, and the rewards are there. They're subtle, but you take away what you will. The physical aspects, you're going to get fed organic food. Uh, the spiritual aspects, you're going to grow your heart. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Very, very true. Well, Jay, give us your final words. I feel very inspired because I love to talk to people that have that connection with the earth. And because sometimes I think I might come off as crazy. Like when I'm touching the trees today, I was, really in that essence of tree energy. So it's wonderful to find a soul that understands.
Kindred spirit.
Yes, that's it. Kindred spirit. Thank you.
Well, no problems. I was telling some folks about doing this today and who you were, and I honor your sacred heart as to connection to life and to the path you've chosen, both as a vegan and a gentle person who walks this earth, you know, with an open heart to all life. It's very honorable, and
Thank you.
yeah, I honor that. I try my best. Uh, yeah, I don't know quite what else to say. It's just if this is something that has spoken to you and you don't know how to start, just start small. Just get a couple of pots on your patio, your deck. Get some good soil in there, and get some seeds and put them in the ground. Get some flowers, plants from the plant stores, and yeah, put some things in the ground, tend them, watch them grow, enjoy them, watch the cycle, repeat and rinse, repeat and rinse.
Well, it's a beautiful process. So I really thank you so much, and I honor you for everything you're doing for Mother Earth and your voice for Mother Earth, Jay. And it's very incredible that this legacy that you're creating every day through the soil.
Yeah. Well, it's important, and I feel like if I'm gonna dedicate my time and energies to something, I want it to maybe be something that will live on beyond me. And this 16th year of the garden cranking up, I think we're bringing in some new younger people, and I'm excited about getting them excited. That's on them, but I will speak the excitement of what we're doing. And basically what I've spoken to you today in this interview will be spoken again on Saturday morning, uh, or to anybody who comes by the garden. So I'm staying the course and knowing that this is what I do. This is kind of, if I wasn't working, this is what I would be doing all the time. Uh, it feeds me. It makes me happy. It keeps me healthy. Keeps me sane. keeps me keeps me connected. So
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And thanks, Everett, and everyone who's watching on the replay. Let us know, what you thought about this with your comments. And if you want to get a hold of Jay, come. And we're talking about Unity North Atlanta, and that's in Marietta, Georgia. If you want to come join us, please join us, reach out. And again, thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate this.
Pleasure. Hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. It was kind of a monologue, but so be it. I've enjoyed it. Thank you for all you did, Mary Peter.
Thank you, Jay. And we'll see you next week, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.